Hello, Choctaw-Nakoma Park community. I'm David Reid, the Superintendent of Choctaw-Nakoma Park Schools. We're excited to bring to you a new podcast series titled C&P Perspectives Beyond the Boardroom with David Reid. During this podcast series, we're going to interview various guests to see how these aspects of our school district intersects with their lives. I felt the perfect guest for our first podcast would be our 2020-21 Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Tina Dewey from LW Westfall. Welcome and congratulations.
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Dewey.
Thank you so much.
Mrs. Dewey and I graduated from Choctaw High School together. In fact, we went to intermediate grade schools and elementary grade schools together. I recently had a retiring teacher reach out to me and send a yearbook. And as I was looking through it, the James Griffith yearbook, I turned to the class and I found Tina Smoot,
Yes.
who actually was in my 4th grade class with Mrs. Torbett back in the day.
Oh, that's awesome.
And although these pictures are in black and white, I do firmly believe there was actually color photos back when we had
I think
these
there
days.
was,
So,
yes.
good.
We're not that old yet.
Correct. Well, since you grew up in Choctaw-Nakoma Park and now you teach in the same community, it's got some uniqueness to it, some challenges to it. Talk to us about being not only a graduate of the community, but also a teacher in that same community.
Yeah, I was thinking the other night, I have spent over half of my life involved in this district in some capacity. So starting as a 5-year-old child, starting kindergarten, I graduated. I met my husband in high school. We moved away, came back. My children go to Choctaw-Nakoma Park Schools. I have a daughter who's a junior now and a son who's in middle school as a 7th grader. And then I've been in the district teaching for the past 8 years. So it's really kind of been a huge part of my life and like home to me. And it's very interesting to see it as a student, and I had some wonderful teachers, and then to also be on the other side of it, and there's still this community feel. Even when I was a child to coming back now as an adult, some of the people that were still there when I was a student are still here today. And so it's really neat to make that connection that you had with somebody as a child, but then also as an adult, and be able to give back to the community. It's it's meant so much to me. My whole education, my children's education, for me to be able now to give back to the school district and be able to help kids. So it's just been really like home to me. It's just like my home, so I've really enjoyed it.
Awesome. So you teach special education at LW Westfall. What was your calling? What motivated you to want to work with students with special needs?
Well, you know, it's interesting because when I started teaching, I started out in the regular classroom. I've taught 3rd grade and 5th grade. And you have those students for 9 months, and during that time you make a relationship with those students, you work really hard to help them achieve the goals that you have set for them, and then like in a blink of an eye, the year's over and they move on to that next teacher. And so for me, it was the opportunity to work with kids over an extended period of time, to be able to even form deeper bonds and cultivate deeper relationships with the students and the parents that becomes like family. Some students I've had from kindergarten to 5th grade, so I've had them for a 6-year span. And to be able to really focus on what that child's individual needs are and really watch them grow and develop and turn into where they were struggling with something and now they're making successes. For me, it was just a joy to be able to have that extra time and have that extra relationship and watch the development of the entire child and not just a 9-month period.
Right. Well, most teachers have a hard time letting their kids go at the end of the
Yeah,
year. I
I
can't
know.
imagine after 6 years with a kid, it's got to be tough.
That's right. And so like 5th grade graduation, even tomorrow, I mean, it's tears. It's letting go of a family member. But at the same time, you feel like you are connected and you want to stay in touch with that family because they've just been a big part of your life for so long. So it's just, I feel like I'm able to get more out of it than the 9 months because you wanted to stay in touch with that child and they're gone, whereas with special education, it just allows me the opportunity to have a greater impact, I feel like.
Perfect. Talk to us about what qualities you feel a teacher needs to have and possess in order to be successful with young kids.
Yeah, you know, I think there's probably a lot of characteristics we could use for a teacher being successful, but I believe the most important one is probably a genuine love and care for their students. Somebody who sees each of their students as an individual and notices their strengths and weaknesses, takes time to understand their likes and dislikes and what motivates them, and then they use all of that to help guide them through their teaching so that they work to make sure each child is successful in their classroom. Because I feel like a successful teacher bases their success on what their children are learning and how successful they are in the classroom.
Awesome. Talk to us about some of the influences you had, whether it be teachers or people just along the way that have helped you become the awesome person, obviously, that you are, being our Teacher of the Year.
Well, first and foremost, it's obviously my family. I've been very blessed to have such a supportive and loving family. My parents obviously created my foundation, taught me values of life, how to be a good person, right from wrong, hard work, perseverance, positive attitude about things. I mean, the list just goes on and on. They're just such a positive influence in my family or in my life. And grandparents, aunts and uncles, I've just had such a great support system that has just created my value base, and that carries on to everything I do. Teaching wise, obviously that carries over into my teaching, and I've had some wonderful teachers. I've been very blessed, I think, everywhere I've been placed, to be with master teachers and learn from them. I did student teaching in Middle, and I was with Donna Cloud, who's just amazing, professional, was great to learn from. Lonnie McGuire gave me my first opportunity to teach in Middle, and I had a mentor teacher, Vicki Ritchie, again, who just supported me, showed me the way. And I feel like as a teacher, we're really a collage of so many different experiences. Even at Westfall, after 18 years of experience total, there are master teachers over there that I continue to learn from. So I just feel like I've been influenced by so many different people, but it's a collage of all of them together that continue to make me who I am today.
Well, winning the Choctaw-Nakoma Park Teacher of the Year qualifies you for the State Teacher of the Year.
Right.
As you go on to that challenge, which we're excited that you're going on and know that you will represent us exceptionally, what would be your platform if you were to win? What would you share with the students, teachers, parents, and residents of Oklahoma?
Yeah, that's always a hard one. I think my platform, my message would be to really be present in the moment. Our job as educators, I truly feel like, is the most important job in the world, because everything else is based on what you learn as a child, being able to read and write and math skills. And so everything else is dependent on an education. So I feel like we have the most important job. And that being said, I think it's very important that we are in the moment. There's so many outside influences. This year has been crazy with COVID, and people are stressed about it and worried, and there's so many outside things going on that it's so important that we don't forget our responsibility and our goal to have that impact on that student's life. And each day that we come to school, we are focused on that. Today's going to be the day that he's going to learn to read. Today's going to be the day he feels successful. Today's going to be the day she feels the courage to get up and answer a question in class. And so I feel like my message would just be, we've got to let other stuff at the door, and we have to remain focused on what our goal is, to lift those kids up and to prepare them for the future and just build them for success.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming and joining us today. And thank you, parents, for allowing us to work with your children every day. We know this year has been a challenge. We look forward to next year being much more normal year, back to being able to do the things the way we typically do those. But going through a worldwide pandemic, we thank you for all of your patience and perseverance that you've allowed us to continue to educate your children. We look forward to our future podcasts, which we will be able to bring you glimpses of what makes Choctaw-Nakoma Park such a special place. Thank you. Go Jackets.